You know, I'm gonna miss tuning into a new episode of Gundam Build Fighters every week. It was one of the strangest, goofiest, most fun rides the Gundam franchise has ever given us, and I absolutely adored it. Sure, it had a pretty ridiculous premise, with special particles that can animate plastic model kits, and people who travel between different worlds via crystals they found, and plenty of other silly things. But who really cares? With its simplicity, lighter, more humorous tone, and self-awareness, weird, goofy elements that might put a strain on your suspension of disbelief in a more serious Gundam show work fine in this series. And they set the stage for some really fun characters, various creative mobile suit designs, and of course, some kick-ass battles. The fact that these are plastic model kits duking it out leads to some pretty clever, unique stuff in the fights. Builders can gain the advantage by preparing their Gunpla in inventive ways, like hidden metal pieces, special surface coatings, quick-drying glue, incorporating entirely new systems and abilities for their Gunpla. No limits but one's own imagination and skill. Pretty much every battle is cool and interesting in different ways, and I'm here to count down my favorites. This is the Top 10 Gundam Build Fighters Gunpla Battles. Number 10. Bear Guy 3, or Bear Guy San, versus SD Night Gundam, from Episode 9. Not a very long or particularly intense fight, but one of my favorites because it gives us a twist and message that I really like, and because it's from one of the funniest episodes. China, who has only just started building Gunpla, is challenged to enter an all-girl Gunpla battle tournament by Caroline, who has this delusion that she and China are rivals and is obsessed with beating her, even though China has actually never been anything but friendly. Caroline is hilarious. That maniacal laugh of hers, the way she convinces herself that anything nice China says to her is just a deceptive tactic against her in the ongoing rivalry Caroline only thinks the two of them have. I don't know, but she just kills me. China's getting her ass kicked by Caroline's strong, impeccably built SD Night Gundam, until Bear Guy San's unlikely trump card turns the tables. That trump card was cotton filling, courtesy of the silly backstory China had made up for her custom Gunpla. It was a fight where innocent imagination triumphed over someone who thought she had the quote-unquote better-built Gunpla. This inspired Sei to also be more creative with his Gunpla's abilities, and perhaps encouraged some of us in the real world too. Number 9. Star Build Strike vs. Sengoku Astray, from Episode 19. For Niels Nielsen, participating in Gunpla Battle was mostly just his means of getting closer to uncovering the secrets of the Plopsky particles, not something he did for the sake of passion and the thrill of a challenge like Sei and Reiji. But their love for Gunpla Battle proves to be contagious, as Niels gets more and more fired up and invested in this match, which he was more than willing to forfeit earlier in exchange for the information he wanted. With his masterfully built Gunpla and ingenious ways of using Plopsky particle science to his advantage, he had no real challenges before Sei and Reiji. Maybe he could have started genuinely enjoying Gunpla Battle a lot sooner if more of his opponents were as versatile, persistent, and spirited as them. It took nothing less to go toe-to-toe against a Gunpla with swords that render even the largest beam attacks useless and martial arts techniques that can destroy opponents from the inside. Number 8. Everyone vs. Megasized Zaku, from Episode 12. Afraid that Reiji might discover his real identity, Chairman Mashida decides to make sure Sei and Reiji don't stay in the tournament for long. His first sabotage attempt was sending a computer-controlled Megasized Zaku to target the Star Build Strike during a battle royale. This was, literally, their biggest challenge yet, but Sei and Reiji, being who they are, just want to overcome it all the more because of that. And luckily, they're not alone. Mao and Fellini aren't going to let this juggernaut rob them of their chance to fight Sei and Reiji themselves later in the tournament, and even Tatsuya and Niels pitch in briefly. This is also the battle that revealed the Star Build Strike's ability to absorb beam attacks, store the particles, and discharge them for extra powerful attacks. This is what takes down the Zaku, but not without the others providing cover. It was great to see a bunch of fighters working together, though it would not be the last time that happened. Number 7. Star Build Strike vs. Kubilay Papillon, from Episode 21. This episode probably had some of the most genuine drama in the whole series. You really do feel sorry for Isla here. She only fights for the Flana Institute because she has nowhere else to go, but they're taking advantage of her unique abilities and sometimes taking away her choice entirely by using the Embody system to turn her into a relentless destroyer. And unfortunately, that's the state she was in when Reiji, her meat bun rival turned friend, finally discovered that she was Kubilay Papillon's fighter all along. So Reiji's not too pleased with her right now. But the people she works for will be even less pleased if she doesn't beat him. Now that Sei and Reiji know about the clear funnels Isla's been using to take opponents down effortlessly so far, we see how they smartly eliminate those as a factor right away. The Embody system rears its ugly head again, but thanks to the magic of the Arista crystals from Reiji's world, he and Isla are able to talk and make up. And then they start bickering as the fight takes on a much more humorous, uplifting tone, which I think was the perfect way to end it, since too much drama in a series like this could have backfired and spoiled the fun. Overall, it was a pretty good payoff for all the build-up. Number 6. Build Strike Full Package vs. Zaku Amazing from Episode 6. There's not really anything at stake in this fight, but the sheer amount of joy the participants are feeling really sucks you in. Both Gunpla inflict and take so much damage, it's much more exciting and brutal than anything you expected to see in a show about plastic model kits battling. Reiji and Tatsuya go all out, pulling no punches, but also really savoring the moment. Reiji's understanding of why people can be so serious about Gunpla Battle is growing, along with his own passion. Fighters like him and Tatsuya crave and relish an exhilarating fight with a challenging opponent because that's simply who they are. And that seems to be one of Build Fighters' main messages. Do whatever it is you love doing, and by all means try to excel at it, even if it seems weird or downright ridiculous to some people, as plenty of hobbies and dreams in real life do. Thank you for teaching us this valuable lesson, fight scene with plastic model kits animated by magic particles and blowing each other apart. Number 5. Amazing Exia vs. F91 Imagine from Episode 22. I am a bit biased with this one, I guess, since I am a huge Gundam Exia fan, and I know I'm not the only one who is ecstatic to see it in action again. That aside, this is still a good and interesting fight. Tatsuya, now bearing the honored title of 3rd Meijin Kawaguchi, is up against an old friend, Julian Mackenzie, who was also considered good enough to be the next Meijin. Because the previous Meijin was apparently kind of a jerk who sought victory above all else in Gunpla Battle, Julian wants Tatsuya to prove that he hasn't become that kind of fighter too. At this point, Tatsuya had fought some opponents who were a challenge, but never one he actually feared might be his better. And Julian's handling of the F91's abilities do force him to fight with everything he's got, including Transam, even though it apparently wasn't ready. A high-speed duel between Exia and F91, two of my favorite Gundams, with Tatsuya demonstrating just what kind of Meijin he is. You had me at Exia. Number 4. Everyone versus the Out-of-Control Arista from Episode 25. I do feel a little weird not placing this at number 1, considering how it's the only battle in the whole series where lives may actually be at stake. The Arista that Chairman Mashida keeps hidden has gone out of control, causing Plofsky particles to storm, materialize, damaging the building in the process, and create a massive space battlefield, complete with Space Fortress Abawaku and an army of computer-controlled drone Gunpla. Our heroes must fight their way into the fortress to destroy the Arista and prevent disaster. This battle shows off some new Gunpla like Isla's Miss Sazabi, Mao's Crossbone Gundam Mao, and Fellini's Fenice Rinashita. We even get to see Mr. Rawl, Master Chinan, and Sei's dad in action finally, and it's pretty glorious. It's also nice to see Caroline and Kirara pitch in, since they were both the antagonists of their respective introduction episodes. And that's part of what made this such an enjoyable finale. Everyone's banding together to save the day. Friends, friendly rivals, mentor figures, all the characters we know and love in one final giant battle. Awesome. Number 3. Star Build Strike vs. Exia Dark Matter from Episode 24. An upgraded form of the amazing Exia, plus the skills of Tatsuya, plus the embody system forcing him to fight viciously with the superb gunpla and skills at his disposal, plus Miss Baker altering the fields to work more to Exia's advantage, equals Sei and Reiji looking pretty screwed. But after getting thrashed for a while, losing most of their weapons, and being made aware of what's going on with Tatsuya, Team Build Strike is just more determined to even the odds, snap their friend out of it, and win the tournament. Exia Dark Matter puts on a pretty badass performance, using Niels' trick for negating a massive beam attack with only a blade, using swords that can create fire and ice, and using Transam. It's one hell of an opponent. But so is Star Build Strike, which made good use of what little it had left at its disposal, like an improvised version of the discharge attack, and that always helpful RG system. If you ask me, this was an excellent battle to end the tournament with. Number 2. Kampfer Amazing vs. GM Sniper K9 from episode 18. Since the Renato brothers approach Gunpla Battle like an actual war, they demonstrate some impressive planning and tactics in the fight against Tatsuya. They throw clever surprise after clever surprise at him, attacking from 2 directions with the GM and its autonomous hound backpack, setting booby traps all over the field, sending tiny soldier figures to discreetly set bombs on the opponent's joints, and using the XAM system just when the opponent thinks it's finally safe to fight up close. I know I'm supposed to frown on the Renato brothers for treating Gunpla Battle as a war to be won rather than a game to be enjoyed, but their tricks are still damn intelligent and creative. Luckily for Tatsuya, he's an extremely competent fighter too, and the ways he adapts to or even anticipates and prepares for some of the Renato's tricks are very enjoyable, especially the ironic weapon his Kampfer ends up using to turn the tables. It was such an exciting battle of strategy and tactics unique to the world of Gunpla Battles and fought by some of the smartest and most skilled fighters in the series. Easily one of the show's finest. Number 1. Star Build Strike vs. Wing Fenice from episode 15. After the final battle, this one probably has the next highest stakes. If Sei and Reiji lose this fight, they're out of the tournament, whereas Fellini already has a spot in the finals, so as a friend he could totally just let them win. And part of him wants to, but it just wouldn't feel right to him, and he knows Sei and Reiji probably wouldn't be satisfied advancing in the tournament that way. It's a fantastic fight, and easily the most intense and brutal since the fight in episode 6. Fellini knows better than to fire beams that the strike will just absorb and discharge at him later, so he fires around his opponent, making the surroundings fight for him, and uses some slick beam saber and shield tricks near the end. Sei and Reiji use a Gundam anime-inspired string booby trap with the detached universe booster, and push their gunpla to its limits with the RG at full power. The fighters are holding nothing back, because even though there's an easier way for Team Build Strike to get a place in the finals, that's not the way they want to get there. It's compelling because Fellini shares the same passion for gunpla building and battling as Sei and Reiji. There's an unspoken understanding between them, that they want to win a battle knowing their opponent has given their absolute best shot, knowing that they won because they, like I said earlier, excelled at the thing they love doing so much. This is one of the fiercest, most important battles in the series, and it really captures the spirit of this show that helps make it such a joy to watch. It's my number 1 favorite Gunpla battle in Gundam Build Fighters. But before I go, here are some runner-ups I want to mention real quick. Star Build Strike vs. X Mao from episode 17. A good fight, and it was interesting to see Mao stressing over the fact that he probably can't win, but resolving to just do his best and enjoy the battle anyway. Build Mark II and X Mao vs. Opsilus 3 from episode 7. Sei, Reiji, and Mao team up and take on a big, powerful mobile armor with the fate of Misaki's Inn at stake. Sweet. And finally, Beginning vs. Build Mark II from episode 23. A short, inconclusive battle, but it's so great to see Sei and Reiji having a ton of fun battling each other, and to see how much Sei's fighting abilities have improved since the start of the series. Okay, now I'm done. That was my list of favorite Gunpla battles. Thanks for watching.